The Munich S-Bahn is a large rail system connecting different parts of the city of Munich to each other and with the surrounding suburban areas with frequent, modern trains every day of the week. Well, mostly. Let's ride the S20, the one S-Bahn line that doesn't serve the city center, doesn't run every day, and is not frequent. And did I mention it'll be on the oldest rolling stock on the Munich S-Bahn? Apart from the S20, all S-Bahn lines in Munich serve München Hauptbahnhof, or Munich Central Station, just to the west of the historic Old City, with the majority of the lines passing through a tunnel through and serving underground stations in central Munich, while the S7 instead terminates at the above-ground platforms at München Hauptbahnhof. The base frequency of these lines is every 20 minutes, though there are some exceptions and times when this isn't always the case. The major exception to this rule is the S20, which runs at least from Pasing, a good distance west of the center of the city, east and then south to Hörigolskreuz, following the S7 once it turns south. Some S20 trips can go all the way out to Gertendorf, but this isn't currently happening as of the time of posting. I'll be boarding at Pasing and then riding to the end of the line at Hörigolskreuz, a distance of about 16.4 kilometers or 10.2 miles. Though I had to hurry to catch my train, so there's actually no footage of it coming into the station or of me boarding. Oops. So this is just some footage of Pasing Station as a backup. It's a nice station with bus and tram connections, as well as connections to regional and other S-Bahn trains. And though this was filmed on a different S-Bahn service, this is the kind of train we'll be riding, a Deutsche Bahn Class 420, the first kind of train ever used on Munich's S-Bahn system, back in 1972, though the ones currently running in Munich were acquired more recently from Stuttgart, built in the 1990s. And for context, this is the actual train set I rode on this day. However, I think the Class 420 is deserving of its own video, so let me know if that's something you want to see. And this is the interior of the car I actually rode. It's got simple doors, plain if not unremarkable seating with small tables and openable windows, very important. After we depart eastbound from Pasing, we follow along the rail line that other passenger trains use to get into central Munich, and we catch a glimpse of a regional train and then another S-Bahn train, though it's not on the S20. Soon we pass a longer distance intercity ICE train going in the opposite direction, probably having just left München Hauptbahnhof. Behind the ICE train is Lisle Station, an interchange station served by every other S-Bahn service on this section of the trunk line. The S20 uses these tracks, though, passing south of the station platforms, as we soon have to turn off the main line towards Hörigolskreuz, meaning the S20 is kind of an express S-Bahn service. We'll see this again later. Not too long after that, we turn off this line towards the southeast to serve Heimachanplatz, also served by the S7, U4, and U5, and the occasional regional train. They will be following the route of the S7 for the remainder of our trip.
Nächster Halt, Heimachanplatz. Umstiegen zur 4 und 0. Next stop, Heimachanplatz. Change here for the U4 and U5.
After a very aggressive door close, which at least for the S-Bahn seems to just be a thing on the Class 420s, we head for Mitte-Sendling. Before we get there though, we see another oddity of the S20 serves, as we run express past Harras while other S-Bahn and regional trains on this line serve this station. This is a relatively uncommon occurrence on the Munich S-Bahn, as regional trains often run express while S-Bahn trains act as local services. So to have an S-Bahn service run express past a station served by regional trains is very much not the norm here, and just adds to the reasoning behind why I find the S20 to be Munich's strangest S-Bahn line, even if it probably just comes down to track layout in this case. Mitte-Sendling and Siemenswerke are fairly normal stations, the latter of which offers a short walking connection to Obersendling Station on the U3. And as you might have seen, there is still some fine urban land use around here, even though it's not the center of the city. So in that way, the S20 is a cool peripheral service. After Zolln, the regional service is split off on a line that crosses the Isar River. The S20 used to cross the Isar down here as well, but has since been rerouted to just stay on the west side of the river. There are only a few more stops on the S20, and the buildings are noticeably smaller and shorter down here once you leave Munich city limits after Zolln. Shout out though to Großhesseloer Isartal Bahnhof for just having simply a very long name. Eventually we pull into Hörrigoskreuz, the last stop on the S20. I don't stick around here for too long as I catch an S7 train back to Pullach to get some nice rail fanning shots. Because the Class 420 is just a cool train. Let's just say it turned out pretty well. So that was the S20, a semi-express peak-time weekday-only train that simply saves you a transfer in central Munich if you're going between the south and west of the city. Sure, railroads that don't go downtown might be common in other cities, but the S20 is very much an outlier in Munich's urban and suburban rail network. And yes, I'm aware the S2 does operate a shuttle service sometimes past Dachau, but that's part of a different S-Bahn line, and it's not its own line, so we're not going to talk about that here. So the S20 is useful as a connection between these specific parts of the metropolitan area at these specific times when it runs, but it is a very limited service that seems like a rarity compared to the frequencies of the rest of the S-Bahn network. Thankfully, all S20 stations are served by at least one other S-Bahn line, so there are ways to get between these stations at off-peak times and on weekends, but it won't necessarily be a one-seat ride. As to do the same trip from Pasing to Hörrigoskreuz, you'd probably end up taking an S-Bahn train to Donnersberger Brücke and then changing to the S7 to get to Hörrigoskreuz. But it is nice to have a one-seat ride option if you plan around the S20. Plus, if you want to try and catch a Class 420, from what I've seen and heard, the S20 is a relatively usual place to find one. But let me know what you think of this peripheral suburban line in the comments. Like, comment, and or subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.